What is up? This is my first live video ever on YouTube. I'm not sure how I feel about this whole thing because, to be honest, I hate a lot of the YouTube videos I see. Probably just because I'm too dumb to edit stuff and add edgy music and fade away and cut and stuff. But whatever, to each their own. However, I needed motivation to change the oil on the old race car. So this was my way of motivating myself. Now, I am in Orlando, Florida, just on the outskirts of Mexico, and it is a mere, I don't even know how cold it is. I think it's about 50 degrees. See, I'm so inexperienced with going live on YouTube on my phone that I just tried to go to my home screen and look at the temperature, and I disconnected the video. So this is why I can't have nice things. This is why I can't have nice videos. So anyway, let me see if I can swap the screen around. Boom. So I guess I'll do a quick little walk around in my car. Been meaning to start a channel and just kind of post some videos here and there. Let me grab the light. Some of the little scooters. Got a couple KTMs. The old track pit bike. And then, oh man, this beast. This is a real race car. GT500s are cool. But GT5000s, that is a whole nother level, let me tell you. So anyway, I have a 92 Foxbody LX. Originally a 4-cylinder car. I bought this as a roller last year. Actually, almost exactly a year ago. And the paint body was already done. The front clips molded together. The back bumper is molded to the rear quarter panel. And as nice as it looks, I absolutely hate it. I don't know if this guy was thinking he was never, ever going to take this car apart. But as you can see here, I did a 2003 Cobra swap. I bought a complete Cobra from, I don't even remember where it was, but just past the Florida-Georgia line. You know, I was on vacation in North Carolina, and my wife and I on the way back, we had to drive right by it anyway. So we stopped there, and originally I was going to trailer it, but the day I got there, it snowed. Everywhere closed down, because apparently that south of Georgia doesn't get snow often. So I had to drive this '03 Cobra back. It was a disaster. But anyway, I drove it back. It was about a 3-hour drive. Battery died on me about like 20 miles from my house. Had to pull over and charge the car and then finish the drive home. But it rode good. Car had a rebuilt title. I got a pretty good deal on it. Essentially, I just paid the guys balance off. And I know him. We're still friends on Facebook. He's a really cool guy. His name's Elijah. But I wanted the car because it had a built motor in it already. And it still had a stock blower. It was a ported, I don't even know the company that ported it, but it was a ported stock blower with a pulley. And it had some bolt-ons here and there. But I really just wanted it for the built blower. It also had a mildly built T56 and a mildly built IRS. And there's paperwork for everything, which is why I really wanted it. Now, moving on to the rest of the car. Obviously, I did swap the front brakes over, but I upgraded to some 4-piston Brimbos. Got some RPF ones on the car. Now, when I first put these RPF ones on, they were, although in the air the wheels looked like they cleared the brakes and they spun freely, when you put it on the ground, how the car is angled and it kind of pulls the wheel in a little bit. I scored the calipers on each side, so now there's like a baby spacer in there. You can kind of see it. It's super small. I think it's like 3 millimeters. I have a chromoly K-member in here that accepts the 4.6 motor. It's a Maximum Motorsports caster camber plates. Where the car gets pretty cool is in the back. I swapped the entire rear end. Get some footage down here. You can see the IRS exhaust. You can kind of see the brace that's on the IRS diff. But I do have a built IRS back here. The only thing that's still stock in there, which I haven't had time to replace yet, are the axles. And I've made about probably 35 passes on this car. Cut some pretty impressive 60 foots actually. It's like a 141 in the IRS. Now the only thing I haven't put in here yet is a radio, but I did do the 03 Cobra dash, the 03 Cobra console. I got some Corbeau DFXW seats, Scott Rod panels on the doors. I have a Competition Engineering 8-point cage. And then I also have the Scott Rod panel rear, which was a pain to cut these holes for the cage. There's the 7th and 8th points, the cross members that go down to the trans tunnel. Whew, it is cold as balls. Maybe not for you northerners, but for me in Florida, 47 degrees or whatever it is right now is pretty freaking cold. Actually, let me pop the trunk for you. Show you a little bit what's going on back here. So there's a race coming up this weekend, and the race, oh that's right, the trunk pop still works. Oh, I forgot I had my helmet back here. So I have a P&R 10-gallon, oh maybe not 10-gallon, I think it's 7-gallon trunk mounted intercooler tank with an in-tank pump. It's my drain, goes out right over the driver's side exhaust. This is the lethal return kit. A lot of the wiring for that, there's the relays, some of the factory harness that comes back here. I have a truck mounted battery. The only thing I haven't really put now what I haven't done is I haven't put the battery disconnect in yet. Not too thrilled about having to drill through somewhere in the trunk area to mount this rod, the push-pull rod. I like the car because it's such a sleeper, right? I don't have a parachute. I don't have any of that. I don't really need a parachute right now. Although the car does trap mid to one high 140s in the quarter. You don't really need a chute until you're 150 or above. And I'm still a few off from 150. Now, going back to this setup, originally I got a 99 Cobra that came with a ton of parts, and I pretty much just sold the car and kept all the parts that came new in the box. One of the things that came new in the box was a Gen 2 blower, and these ID 1050Xs came new in the box. The lethal return kit came new in the box. I mean, pretty much everything I wanted. Originally, I was just going to do the swap with what I had. Well, then I bought this Cobra. The guy just gave up on the project. It was an Eat and Swap 99, and it didn't have a blower, but it did have the Gen 2 that was brand new in the box. So I kept the Gen 2. I took the original blower that was on this motor when I got the car and put it on that car, got the car running again, and then I sold it to a buddy of mine. And I kept everything that I wanted for this car. This is the second rendition of this car. I sold the Gen 2 blower after about 20 some passes, and I upgraded to a Gen 3. This is a Gen 3 blower with a GT500 throttle body, and I have full supporting mods. It's on the 85. On the last blower, the car really didn't make a lot of power, and it's really not VMP's fault because VMP Gen 2s are proven on these cars to make consistent 700 at the tire on E85 with full supporting mods. My car struggled to make roughly 600, and I made over 600 at the tire. However, I really have been battling some voltage issues. Now, recently, I figured out that my alternator was going bad the entire time, and since then the car has felt like an absolute monster. So I also fixed that problem after I put the Gen 3 on it, so I have no idea what power the car makes right now. Um, I know that it's capable of a lot. It hasn't been on the dyno since I got the Gen 3. Um, we've just really been tweaking it. I live really local to VMP, so the track, is probably 10 minutes from my house. Turn this back around. The track's probably about 10 minutes from my house. Uh, Luckily, since I live local to VMP, I also live local to my tuner. He happens to be a friend of mine. Um, so I'm very fortunate to have the support I do from VMP. But yeah, we've just been data logging it, and the other night at the track, I lost fuel pressure. I think it's because I had less than half a tank. Buddy of mine there had some E85 on him, so I put some fuel back in it. But I haven't had the voltage issues since I put the new alternator in it. Um, I switched from a Nations alternator, which I actually have right here. This is the old alternator, and I say old loosely. This is like a year old, and I have a 3-inch pulley on it. But Nations uses this standalone voltage regulator that's adjustable. I do not like it. I went to a MechMan alternator, which is internally regulated, and since then I had the issues I was having. One of the issues I was having was at high RPM, the gauges would sweep. I'd lose voltage. The car would essentially fall on its face. Like the car was running, but I think the computer wasn't seeing the voltages it needed to see, and it's really scary, right? Because the car will lean out, the pumps will lose voltage, and it's just a bad case scenario. So since this new alternator has been put in, I haven't had any of those issues. And the car, since the fastest mile an hour I had in the Gen 2 was 135. The fastest mile an hour I've had on the Gen 3 is 145. So I know the power is there. On the Gen 2, I ran about 20 pounds of boost. On the Gen 3, I'm running roughly 22, maybe 23. Depends on the air and the conditions. So just wanted to do a walk around video and talk about the Fox. I've posted some pretty old videos, except for the video where I raced Joe from VMP and his Gen 3 supercharged F-150, which the video does not do it justice, because off the line, we were right next to each other. I grabbed second, and I finally started to pull, but I missed fourth. And in that moment where I missed fourth, he was definitely coming back hard. So I hope he posts a video from his perspective, because that was one of the most fun races I've had in a while. Everyone was looking at my car at the line, not even expecting his truck to do anything, and I know his truck just dropped jaws. So yeah, that was a good race. So that's the most recent video. That's the only video I've posted with the Gen 3. I'll post more, but I'm doing this oil change now because of I am actually racing an event this weekend. Friday and Saturday, All Out Live. Pinks is coming to Orlando Speed World. And although my car is a consistent, like mid to low 10-second car, I'll probably be one of the slowest cars there. I mean, 10s are cool, but 10s were really cool like 5 years ago. Now, all these cars are just ridiculous. These factory cars with essentially bolt-ons and tunes are running 10s. You could just go buy a 10-second car, for 40, 50 grand. Whereas it took me like 7 months to build this car. So I'm really trying to get into the 9s, but again, it is a 6-speed car, and I am not the world's best driver. Although I know the car well, and I'm sure someone else could probably hop in my car and just rail off a 10. I wanted to be different, so I have the IRS. I have the 6-speed. If I throw a solid rear axle in there, and made a couple passes with the weight difference and the being able to launch it a little bit harder, I could probably get a 9. But I want to do it on an IRS. The car will see road course time in its life, which is why the IRS is in there. The car, as it sits, weighs about 3180. which isn't bad for a mild steel 8-point cage, a super heavy iron block '03 Cobra motor, and an IRS. I mean, I saved weight where I could, but this is a full weight street car. It is. I have AC. I have power steering. Um, I have ABS. The whole ABS system from the '03 Cobra's in here. Um, and then the only thing it doesn't have right now that makes it, I guess, like true street car is I don't have the radio in it yet. So it'll probably weigh maybe 40 pounds more when the radio and the speakers are in and wired up. But to be honest, I don't care. I mean, if I had to guess, the car probably makes somewhere close to 800 horsepower, uh, maybe high sevens. And I do plan on throwing like 100 shot on it. So um, I'm not, I didn't build it to be a legitimate race car. I built it just to be an all around cool car. And to be honest, every single time I drive it, and I'm not even exaggerating, every single time I drive it, someone gives me a thumbs up or someone honks their horn and like tells me nice car. And it's kind of cool because like the other day I was coming home from work. I work like 10 minutes away, and a guy in a GTR got next to me, and he had a nice car, and he punched it. With these Foxes, you don't know if you're going to get a fast car or a slow car. And I got on it, and he was just like amazed. He's like, no way. Like, so it's cool to be able to surprise people. Um, but anyway, it is cold. I'm still in a short sleeve shirt. Uh, my nipples are glass cutters right now. So I'm going to go ahead and change this oil that I got sitting right here. Good old 5W30 synthetic Mobile 1. Really was going to put 5W50 in it, but 5W50 is not easy to come across. Um, Again, the motor is built, and I beat on it, so that would be the reason for the 5W50. I didn't believe it either when I first was told and heard that was the oil I should use, but upon some research, it is actually recommended. Um, Both engine builders and a lot of other guys that run these built motors and really abuse them like they're built to be used. They use these specific heavyweight oils. But anyway, my name's Jonathan. That's the hand-built race car. I'll be posting some videos here and there. I don't really plan to become YouTube famous because A, who does, and B, I do not have the time for that. I'm an engineer. I work a lot of hours, and I'm also married. So if that doesn't explain to you my lack of time, I don't know what will. Also, I drive a Ford. It stays broken. Just kidding. But seriously, it's a Ford. All right, guys. Well, feel free to comment what you want to see. I've posted some drag videos. I'll post some street videos here and there when I get out. But I am definitely looking for some recommendations. I'm not perfect at this. So if you want to see more of it, if you want to see less of it, if you want to see none of it, I mean, you don't have to click on it. That's fine. Just give me a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to see. And I'm not going to spend money to please random people. I will tell you that, because this thing ain't cheap. So, but I will post certain videos if I think it's cool, and definitely try to get some cool content out there. So, all right, give me a holler, and look forward to making more of these videos. All right, guys, peace.